Hi, everyone. Very good afternoon. This is Ekta from the Analytics. We shall be starting the session in next 5 minutes, just waiting for a few more attendees to join us. Yes, thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon. Before I start, if someone can let me know, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you are very much audible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So hello all. Very good afternoon. Myself, Ekta Dubey, on behalf of the Analytics team and our partners, SIFI, Freshworks, and OzoneTel, we welcome you all on our very interesting webinar, which is Future-Proof CX through Omnichannel Communication as a Service. Today, we have interesting set of speakers who will share interesting insights on how SIFI along with its key technology partners, Freshworks and OzoneTel, can help orchestrate and automate frictionless end-to-end connected customer experience for your organizations. But before we start this webinar, there are few guidelines that I would like to highlight and request the audience to please adhere to. Requesting all the attendees to be on mute when the speakers are taking the session, and please switch off your videos. Also, there are few attendees who join by the gadgets, requesting to please rename yourself. That helps us to share the video post-session. We will definitely open for the Q&A where the attendees can ask the questions if any to our speakers. The guidelines are you need to raise your hands, unmute yourself, and put your question to our speakers by introducing yourself. We also look forward to make this webinar engaging and interesting, and this can be done only with our audience, where you can keep the chat box engaged with your interesting insights and questions to our speakers. And now, I would like to introduce our speakers for the day. We have Mr. Jagjit Singh Mathru, Head Product and Business, Voice, CAS and Collaborations with SIFI. Ms. Suhana Somana, Regional Head with South for OzoneTel. Mr. Raghavendran R., Lead Partner Sales Engineer with Freshworks. And now, I would like Mr. Jagjit to take it from here. Thank you for joining all the speakers and the audiences.
Thank you so much, Ekta. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Just allow me a moment to share the screen. A very warm welcome to each one of you, and thank you for your participation in this session. I'd like to begin the session with setting the context, in the today's environment between the customer and the enterprise. Now, if you're looking at the customer today, you'll see that customer is, there in today's generation, which is the generation next, and a spoiled customer because the customer has got multiple options available and has an easy access for information at various touch points. Now, not only this, the customer has an option of having customized solutions made, has a self-service option also available, and can ask for more. Since he's willing to pay more for the requirements that he has. Not only that, since he's willing to pay more, he is quite demanding as well today. So that's what the customer is looking at in a experience-driven and value-driven environment today. Vis-a-vis, if you're looking at an enterprise today, you'll see that enterprise is striving in a very stringent environment. They are also looking at being available at multiple touch points and trying to stay relevant while they continuously try to fight against competition and the environment, which is very difficult in the days to come. With this, they also want to stay very close to the customer, and hence they want to move to cloud and a hybrid environment today, which means that they need to stay relevant and they need to stitch up solutions and products and services to the customer in such a manner that they can make a lot of sense to the customer, as well as try to be surviving in the organization as well as in the context of the today's environment. It becomes really very relevant for the customer today to be demanding, and hence the enterprise needs to live up to the expectations. Even in this stringent environment and fierce competition, you will see that there are still organizations which are striving to hold fort while they continue to operate their communication channels in silos. They have legacy infrastructure, which is, they're trying to make that legacy infrastructure work for themselves by investing more and more in terms of money and people. Though the infrastructure cannot be integrated with the applications and services that are new age, but they still strive to use those infrastructure, which puts them down, pushes them back and makes them slow. So the agility is the need of the day, scalability is the need of the day, which cannot be achieved with the legacy infrastructure. Also, what happens is, in case they need data points to be available across multiple touch points and it needs to be available in an integrated manner, That's something which becomes very challenging with the legacy infrastructure since it cannot be integrated with the new age applications. Vis-a-vis, if you see the organizations which have realized the importance of CX value, they are quickly moving towards delivering a single customer interface, which needs to be orchestrated and automated across all multiple touch points in their organization within their value chain. They're looking at a solution which can ride over their existing infrastructure. It is not very heavy on their expenses and expenditure, while they continue to achieve scale and flexibility to meet the business requirements of the day. So a collaborative approach is what they need to follow, and a collaborative approach is what they're looking towards to follow to achieve CX value. This brings us to a point that delivering frictionless customer service experience is the need of the hour today. Now, to do so, you will need to see you will need to orchestrate a layer which sits between the business layer and the customer layer, and that layer will help you deliver seamless customer service experience across different formats in the organization. That can be done through a platform which is known as CAS, which is what we are here today to know about. Now, if I have to share with you some statistics, these statistics just do some reinforcements which we are already aware about. If you go by the market research conducted by IDC in the market, you will see that 80% of the customers are still looking at speed, convenience, and knowledge as their key factors for decision making. Whereas 73% of the customers are looking at interconnected customer communication mediums, which they want to be context based, which means that the need can change and they can switch over to the communication channels as and when the need arises. And finally, the base thing remains at 70% of the customers still look at customer experience. Now, if I have to speak about the market size, it's a 17 billion market worldwide. It's expected to be about 17 billion market worldwide by about 2024. And this is as per the statistics shared by Gartner. And if you're looking at the growth trajectory, it's at about 55% as per the statistics shared by IDC. While these are only numbers, it just goes to show the kind of adoption that's being taking place in the market across CAS as a product. Now, one may wonder why CAS. Now, to reinforce that further, Gartner has gone one step ahead and defined it as a 5-layer architecture, beginning with the network layer, which is actually the foundation of the entire architecture. And that offers you the basic services across SIP trunk, phone numbers, and your IoT being the new kid on the block. This is followed by communication layer, which through the help of APIs, you can use SMS, WhatsApp for business integration. You can also use it for email, video, two-factor authentication, and AI and bots. This is followed by a wrapper layer, which helps you to authenticate solutions, help to extend notifications, IVR, omnichannel, and also do payments and biometrics. The fourth layer being the layer which offers complete stack of solutions across the length and breadth of the organization. And this can be done through orchestration and integration with the various departments and services that the organization has to offer. And in this layer, you can get solutions which run through contact center, unified communications, CRM, and even telemedicine for that matter. Finally, we come to the marketplace, which is the fifth layer. This is the layer where the organization meets up with the partner ecosystem and can both together can develop solutions which will service the customer. All these layers, if you see, are built around both the customer and the compliances, and these are triggered using self-service kits or low-code APIs, which will help you to quickly do provisioning, monitoring, analytics, as well as billing. Now, all this is not useful unless and until you're able to do an orchestration through the length and breadth of the organization, which I mentioned to you earlier also, which means that this functionality needs to be triggered across departments, whether it's a sales, marketing, customer service, operations, probably supply chain management, distribution, and any other department that comes to your mind. And this can be done only when there is an orchestration and integration that is running across the length and breadth of the organization, with the key triggers being indicated using communication mediums across the various touch points, And those touch points need to be integrated in such a manner that the flow is seamless and the data points also are seamless, so that you can make some sensible business decisions based on the data points that come back to you. And hence you can derive maximum ROI if you have been able to stitch the solution back in the organization in a very orchestrated and integrated manner. That will help you to deliver seamless customer service experience. Now, to do this, there are some critical blocks that are needed by the organization to do it. Now, if you're taking an organization which is age old and following a legacy infrastructure, or new age organization, both will need to have an access to an infrastructure which is readily available and sits and resides on the existing infrastructure and integrates really well. Now, to do that, you will need to have touch points which will help you to have the seamless flow taking place between one department to the other. And once the flow takes place, it also needs to ensure that the data points are also flowing seamlessly across. This will help you to not only make sensible business decisions, it will also help you to collaborate both internally in your organization as externally with your customers and partners. So it becomes very critical for you to have the infrastructure, the right infrastructure, the right communication mediums or channel, and it needs to be integrated really well. Of course, the products and services that you're stitching back with your organization for reaching out to your customer needs to be future ready. And of course, it needs to be low on your pocket, so that you can stay relevant and you can still continue to exist and serve your customer. Moving further. Now, to do this, there are two models that are available in the market. One is a do-it-yourself model or the developer model. And this model is normally recommended at the build stage of your application. And you can do this using specific application-based SDKs or IDEs. But this requires a lot of in-house integration capabilities that an IT team can bring about. Vis-a-vis, there is a model which is a managed service model where partners like us can come in and add a lot of value to you and manage the flow end to end, understanding your business processes and systems, and stitch that solution up for you. Not only this, we then offer you end-to-end support so that the experience remains seamless and you can scale as per your needs. Now, once you have chosen the model, the next decision-making step for you is to choose the right partner. And to do that, we have some skeletals which can help you to key parameters which you can keep in mind while choosing that. One of them being that in case you have a reach which is across the globe, you will need to have a partner which is India-based and also has reach across the globe. You will need to have a partner which has a managed service provider capability, has been implementing such use cases across the verticals. So that makes a lot of sense for you not to reinvent the wheel, and you can pick up from the experiences that the partner already has. Besides this, of course, the product roadmap is really very important because that needs to be future ready. And while it is future ready, it should be in such a manner that you can be able to customize that basis your business needs, so that it sits and resides in your organization environment and does the functionality what you expect it to do. Other than this, when you're looking at a partner, you should be looking at a partner which is offering you solutions which are running under the regulatory environment and is secure and compliant. In addition to that, of course, strong analytics and data point capabilities are really very important. And critical call to action triggers are important so that you can make some sensible business decisions. So these are few points that we would like to put across to you for helping you choose the right partner. Now, at this stage, we would like you to introduce to a video which showcases our capability across SIFI as well as the partners.
Did you need to add audio?
Sorry, can you hear that?
Audio.
I'll try and enhance that. One second.
businesses can achieve this only through internet. The world has changed. The way we live, work, and connect with others has changed. Today, enterprises are looking for quick, convenient, and personalized engagement. Effective communication experience is key for long relationships, as businesses can achieve this only through interactive and engaging communication across the entire value chain of the organization. To do so, we have just the right team and solution that enables you to adopt a use case based approach, deploy and then scale customer journeys as per needs, and deliver the KPIs your organization needs to achieve through CX value, and build this through seamless integrations with your existing hardware and applications using low-key APIs. SIFI, India's largest ICT service provider, partners with India's leading CCaaS solution provider, Omnichannel, to create a single communication interface that can be operated across multiple channels. It offers the right blend of human and AI ML-based interactions and run award-winning solutions to engage audiences across India with missed call campaigns, automated voice calls, and unique SMS campaigns. Our solutions address the communication needs of the employee, partner, customer, and distribution lifecycle management from end to end. It helps accelerate customer acquisition by adding chatbots to your Google Ads, website, or social media channels, and improves your sales performance with powerful auto dialers and verified business caller ID. It also simplifies every aspect of your operations. Deliveries with perfectly timed calls and automated message alerts to enable higher engagement on your website and applications. You can set up a full-fledged, enterprise-grade customer service center in days with all the analytics, reports and features that you need to supercharge your productivity and efficiency. Our full-stack solution has no dependency on third-party solutions. We can work with any integration seamlessly, ensuring you get a 360-degree view of your customer journey. That's why we are loved by India's leading brands. With points of presence across 6 continents and a robust platform which handles 2 billion interactions annually for 2,500 plus brands across the globe, we are ready to assist you with solutions for enhancing your enterprise communications experience.
Hope this video made a lot of sense for you. Ekta, can you bring up the poll question, please?
Yeah, sure. Can I stop sharing, Jagjeet?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ekta, for that. Suhana, I hand over the session to you to take the users through the case study, please.
Thank you, Jagjeet. Like you rightly pointed out, saying that we need to have a right partner. So I was just listening to one of the conversations that one of our colleagues was talking a couple of days back, where they were telling that in any organization it is important that there are 3 layers that is important. One is data, other one is story, and experience. These are the 3 things that any company looks at. And we have, a story for all, where we talk about data for a client that, what he requires, what is the result that he's got, the information that he requires. We have a story which, which can be told, and the experience. That experience can be a client-side experience. It can be a, internal customer experience. So when we talk about internal customer, the end user who's using our solution. So that's where we are coming at. So I think Raghavendra and Jagdish will surely agree to this point, how important it is to have a right partner. So coming to this, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, Swana.
Thank you.
Yes.
Swana, we can't hear you very clearly. Can you be a little more audible, please?
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for those who have not heard me out, I said every company has three basic requirements that they have. One is data, that is like, what is the statistics of the data. The second is experience and a story. So this is factored like, when it comes to a high level, it's the data that they have. What is the, outcome of whatever activity they are doing. The experience is end customer experience or internal customer. So either way, the experience should be smooth. The third option is story. So we want to talk about small stories that every client of ours have actually experienced or the data point. So I'll take you through that. So to start with, we spoke about frictionless communication, which Jagdish was talking about. So now that past 10 years, we have seen there's been a major changes in communication. Previously, it used to be like, more touch and feel or more of communication where, customer wanted a voice in the other end. But now there has been, previously it used to be like SMS, which used to be a chat between relatives or friends and family and all. Now the SMS is one of the mode of communication between the client and the end vendor. The same way we have multiple communication platforms like WhatsApp, we have chat, web chat, we have Messenger, we have Twitter, so many other ways that customers would like to reach out. And what we are saying is, you don't have to have a multiple window for communicating to them. So we are giving you an omni-channel experience where under one window you can communicate to them. It can be a voice call, it can be a chat, it can be in any mode of chat, WhatsApp, Messenger, it can be an email. So we're saying that all communication under one window, and what specifically a client or wants is any communication that he has with his customer support or his vendor should be documented. He doesn't have to repeat what he has spoken or the customer journey, what has happened. So that the agent who's taking the call or agent who's interacting more than call, I can say that interacting with the client, he knows what has happened previously. So that information can be smoothly documented in system. So we have Raghavendra who's from Freshdesk. So we have a smooth information movement in Seattle. So if you look at, there are multiple cases where a client has, now like when you're sitting now, like we are all on a call and we are discussing. And the best way is like, I cannot pick my call, but I can always chat on my phone. So if there's a call coming, I can just take one of the e-commerce example where if he gets a call and he sees, okay, this is a call from, I can talk about one of the big basket or maybe some e-commerce company who's trying to reach out because he's trying to get a delivery done to your location. And you know that you can't pick up his call. You can always chat back. There's a chat option which every client has opted. And there's a multiple communication that can be done using this platform. So likewise, we have a few other experiences that I would like to talk about. Ekta, can you share the polling screen, please? The question is like, how many of you have opted for omnichannel experience? Thank you, Ekta. So here, talking about one of our like the small stories that we talk about. We have a very diverse audience in India. There are a few locations, like rural locations, where connectivity is a problem. It can be a internet connectivity, or there's a power cut for long, maybe a day or two, is where reachability to those locations has been little difficult when it comes to if somebody wants to communicate about the product to them. How do they reach out? So I have a classic example. I'm just giving you one of the examples how we were able to deliver what the client requirement was. So we had a top FMCG company who was looking out for reaching out to rural location and trying to talk about the product to them. So one of the way that there was like, it was a media dark location where, because there was no power, majority of the time there's a power cut, or people are on field, not seeing any TV or anything. So what was a way that they could reach out? So one of the ways that they said, okay, experience is what I'm talking about. He said, okay, let's look at giving them the entertainment. So what we gave is, we said, okay, there's a number that we give it to end user, where he gives a missed call to that number, and immediately there's a callback which happens to him, and there is a recording which plays. It's music. So basically, it was a very famous project which was done by HUL, where it was called Kan Kujura Station, where they played 10 minutes of music. In between, there were commercials talking about the product and all, and then again there was one more song. So this was quite a hit, and you could see that there was 450 impressions, and we got around 700 odd missed calls, and the reach out was actually 2,300 villages that we could reach out. So this, of course, had a major impact. It was like well appreciated. It was recognized by Keynes, also saying that one of the innovative thought which has been used. Jagjeet, you would have heard about this particular project, which actually was a huge hit during those times, and so yeah.
Yes, Swana, surely. This is a project that the recall value is very high, and I'm sure you would remember that we got the award with Keynes also on this project. But the beauty of this project, if I have to reiterate your points, is that the reach that you've given with the solution to the customer here is immense, and without using any media, which is the television media, which is normally used by an FMCG organization to reach out to their target customer. Plus, when they are doing that marketing activity, they are just shooting in the dark. Here, since we've been doing a very focused approach where you used numbers as a medium to reach out to the audience, and they have called back on that number. We specifically know how many people have actually reacted to the audience. So the ROI spends have been really good here. I hope my understanding is correct.
Absolutely right, Jagjeet. In fact, if you look at it, it's not a normal product saying that, okay, bookshare, okay, this is a solution that is available. We customized 2-3 products together. It was a missed call solution. We gave a bot IVRS blast that we stitched, put 2-3 products together, and we gave it to our client.
Okay, but I think Swana also this while you have used this specifically for FMCG as an industry, like I mentioned in my previous discussion, this solution works well across the length and breadth of the organization.
Yes.
For example, if you have to use a missed call solution to a callback for reaching out to your customers, suppliers, for sharing information, integrating this with WhatsApp as a medium to circulate bills or invoices or probably credit notes, all that can be utilized using this solution,
Absolutely
right?
right.
And that's true for all the industry verticals.
So I can talk about one more project that we had done. It's again a different vertical altogether, where they wanted to have, it was an NGO activity that they wanted. So Youth of India, there were interior areas like rural area where the spoken English is not very good over there. So they wanted to have a session, or they wanted to train the youth of India so that their English is better when they go out for applying for job. So where we said, okay, the individual who is interested to take the course can give a missed call, and then there's a slot which is being booked between the teacher and the student, and they are passed together and they listen, or like he gets trained by the teacher for half an hour or 1 hour, the schedule, whatever the schedule it's planned for him. So you can use the solution for any vertical or any project. It can be for marketing purpose. It can be for some kind of a communication purpose. So it's open. So I just give one story, one success story. Likewise, there's one beautiful. We can talk about. A solution that we have come with. We talk about speech analytics, where during the starting of the communication, I had actually spoken about data. So what is data? So basically, you want to know how was the communication from the agent to the client, or how was the communication which client was talking to the agent? What is the audience that we have? Is what gender of audience that you have? What are the key questions that is coming in? For example, if you're looking at I go back to FMCG. So for them, they want to know what kind of calls are coming in. So is it for a product like soap, or is it for some other product? So what are the keywords which has been used? So they get to know what are the high number of calls. So if I'm looking at medical line, we have one very beautiful case where online you can book medicines through online, and one of the key thing is there should be a prescription for any medicine that you're booking. So for that, there's a doctor who gives a call to the patient, and he checks why is it that he's opted for it, and he does a consultation. And post that, the prescription is approved, and the medicines are dispatched to the end user. So here, what they wanted is they wanted to understand is there a communication between the doctor and the patient? So that communication can be given. In other cases where there's a client who's very particular about how the experience of his end customer is. Is the agent listening to him enough? So in that manner, what they wanted is they wanted to hear is agent interrupting the call during when the customer is talking from the other end. So that kind of data can be shared. So if you look at in total, when we talk about analytics, we can talk about sentiment analytics, the kind of tone an agent is using, the kind of tone and customer is using. We talk about keyword analysis, where we say, okay, what is the kind of product, or is the right word has been used by the agent, or the end user, what kind of product is he inquiring for? So is there a requirement for training? If the agent is not able to communicate well, is a requirement of training? So these are the different things that you can derive from speech analytics. So which is actually from what we were 5-6 years where we were talking about how good or what is the pace that agent is talking to, like what kind of a call has the agent handled? Is he able to answer back or reply to all the queries? Is the end customer, what kind of a query is he coming up? So those are the analytics that any client will be looking out for.
Thanks, Swana. That was quite insightful. There's a question that's come up from Rajbir on the insurance sector, whether we've done something. Will you be able to share an example there?
I think Jagdeep, you will be able to share that example of insurance.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
So Rajbir, to answer your question, depending on what your process flow is, see the reason why I mentioned at the start of the presentation that anything that you have in terms of across departments which is manual in nature can be automated and orchestrated. Now, if there is a process, for example, your people internally are communicating to your end customers or to your suppliers or to your insurance agents on the policy reminders or targets that you have, and there are people who are actually picking up the phone and talking, or if you have auto dialers that are configured over here, we can actually automate this process by having the script that's there written on a word in the Word document can be converted into a speech in the language of your choice and be dialed out to the people that they are most conversant in listening in that language, and the responses to that message can be recorded back with a DTMF input, and that can be shared in terms of a report. That's what we call as omni-channel communication flow, which seems to be seamless over here, where you're picking up a document which is actually that needs to be read out, the script needs to be changed, it needs to be handed over to the agent, and then it needs to be provisioned in the dialer, and the dialer dials out, unless it's a manual process altogether. So this can be completely automated. Similarly, if you have any internal processes, like for example, this example is not necessarily for the insurance industry, it's across verticals. If you want to set up a help desk internally for an HR division of yours, or for an IT help desk, you can integrate all these solutions, including WhatsApp messaging and what Raghavendra will be speaking about, the tools that we have across CRM as well as ITSM. Those tools can be effectively used.
Thank you, Jagdeep. In fact, there is an option where you can actually categorize, like, for example, you have your insurance renewal reminder that you want to give. Instead of making the agent give a call, you can automate it on a voice bot, where you call the end client, remind him about the insurance renewal, and whatever the feedback comes. I'm talking about voice bot, where there's a voice bot. It's an interactive communication which happens. And a client, you call the customer and say, okay, your insurance is due. So when do you think you will be renewing it? And he says, I'll be renewing it tomorrow. That actually can be converted to a text, and the information can be shared to the end user. So you can do permutation combination based on your requirement. And even in speech analytics, you have to tell us what is it that you're looking for, and we can actually customize a solution for you. I hope I answered the question. So I'll go to the next story. We are talking about, Jagdeep spoke about our presence globally, where we have connectivity, or we can connect to each other. It can be an internal customer, it can be an external customer. So there's a smooth communication which can go on between internal employees or external customers with the number which is like, which can be picked up. So we had a very classic example where there's a client who had end client complaining about or pointing out the information which has been updated in the app has been wrongly updated. It has to be corrected. And when the tech team is to call the end user who has raised a concern, the calls were not getting picked up because the number was not the local number. So, for example, I'm just giving you a rough example, like agent is sitting, or the tech person is sitting in India, and the person who has raised a concern is from US or Singapore. I can just give an example of Singapore. So what the agent does is he gives a call from which is Singapore DID, or I can say the number, Singapore number. And the end user picks the call because the number is from the US number or it's from the Singapore CLI. So that way the pickup ratio is much better. In fact, when even when there's multiple location, when they need to talk to each other, so they can use our solution for the same. So it's a very simple option that we can give it to our client, where he can use or sit in any location and use any location DID and converse to their end client. So this pandemic has been a game change for everybody, where the end customer or the client has actually opened up and understood the use of cloud-based solution. In fact, the big players during the pandemic had actually had to shut shop or shut their call center because the ease of movement, because to take the calls was not possible because agents were working from home, they couldn't pick the call. But whereas who were with cloud had a very smooth transition. So we have very simple activation process, which is like, you give us a requirement and we capture the requirement and activate the solution. In fact, we did have overnight activations of call centers for COVID care. Jagit, I hope you remember, it was like overnight the requirement came in and we had to deliver by morning, and we were able to meet the requirement. It was like night, the requirement came in and they said we want so many agents, we require so many lines, and they should be ready with lines should be ready, the helpline number should be there, there shouldn't be any downtime, they should have a proper interface, the CRM integration should be there. So there should be a simple communication. There shouldn't be any point where the end user is not able to reach out to the customer, because I'm sure everybody remembers that during pandemic, healthcare was something which was very important, and everybody was emphasizing that the helpline should work 24/7. So that's one of the deliveries that we did during pandemic, and that itself has been a game changer for all the industries, where they felt that they should go light, which unlike before where everybody were talking about building up the infra in their office, now they talk about going light, going, not keeping anything in office, it has to be in cloud. We don't want to keep any servers in our office. I just want a smooth transition. Don't want any kind of hindrances if any such incident happens in future.
I agree completely with you, Suhana. That's possible only because we have the ready infrastructure available across various touch points, to meet the requirements of an enterprise today, and hence we are able to deliver and integrate solutions in a jiffy.
Yes. So, Jagit, I hope you recollect the time that we had to deliver it like overnight, and we were able to deliver it, and it was like super success story for us. So now the question is, why us? So everybody says why us. So we say error-free cloud deployment, which I had already pointed out. Low-key open API. We talk about conversational AI. We say our infra is future ready. So you talk about speech analytics, you talk about AI-based solution, you talk about voice bot. So I'm ready. So if tomorrow the client thinks, okay, if we are looking at something like going for an on-prem solution where the person is stuck with the hardware, if you want to upgrade it, that person is not able to change the solution at all because he has to move in or take a new solution altogether. Here we're saying you're with us, you're ensured that you have a next in thing coming with us. So when we talk about our maybe 5-6 years back, we had a pure simple solution of recording and call recording and then different features. But now when I talk about it, I talk about AI enabled. So the client who had taken my solution a couple of years back are able to, don't have to actually upgrade or something. They just have to just opt for additional features like speech analytics, which we spoke about, or voice bot, which we spoke about, or chatbot or omnichannel experience. So he doesn't have to just upgrade. It is a smooth transition. So that's why we say you need to have a right partner in place. So when you talk about security, when you say that how secure are you, we have all the compliance in place. We are HIPAA compliant, banking sector PCI DSS, we are compliant with it. Information technology, we are compliant with it. So name it, we have all the certification done. So Ekta, one more poll. Thank you, Ekta. I would like to introduce Raghavendra, who's with us, who would like to talk about CRM solution. So,
yeah, thanks, Suhana. So I think the context has been well set up by both Jagjit and Suhana in terms of how the CX landscape is currently there at this point of time. So I think having said that, so I'll just start sharing my screen and try to expedite more on the various scenarios, how that is getting solved right now. So I hope you're able to view my screen. I will just maximize it. And basically, as a follow-up to what Rajbir had asked, right? Like how we can deliver to a typical insurance use case, or have we done something there? So that's where we would like to explain that basically with this typical framework which we have. So this is in terms of satisfying or fulfilling the needs of the customers everywhere. That is the first part wherein the end user has to be delighted. And secondly, master the service excellence. So that's wherein the customer support desk or the help desk comes into picture, right? So how you can enable your support desk or help desk to resolve the inquiries faster and in a more efficient way. So there are some key metrics wherein how the help desk is performing, what is going to be the response time, and how many inquiries were solved within the SLAs, and what are the various scope for improvement that we can do as an organization. So that are some of the features wherein we will be able to incorporate through a joint kind of a solution, which both Horizontal, Freshworks, as well as our partner SIFI will be able to provide. And to cover a specific use case, we have done for a leading TPA provider, wherein we were able to really ask the inquiries, get the inquiries from the end users for a typical insurance. And once the insurance agent had got this inquiries from a typical customer, they were able to reach out to the diagnostic center, wherein they were able to schedule the appointment for this end users. And once the appointment was over, the insurance provider was able to really get an overview of how many appointments had been completed by the diagnostic center at a certain point of time. So all this were kind of measured and were able to get insights through our database. And once the appointment is getting done, that's wherein we were able to really tell the insurance provider as of what were the options for them to cross-sell it or upsell other products to the same prospect as well. So like that, we have got a lot of use cases. And as Jagit had rightly mentioned, I think it is not only pertaining to insurance, it can be more like other verticals as well. In fact, we are absolutely vertical agnostic in terms of we can serve to any kind of verticals, whether it's going to be healthcare or if it is going to be a BFSI kind of a use case or retail use case. So the only thing that we have to do is probably once the session is over, we can probably reach out to Manisha so that we will be able to take that case by case and probably solve it. So coming back to the topic, So the three different ways wherein the framework has been built is initially to delight the user by responding to the inquiries across the various channels from which it is originating from. And secondly, we will be able to master the service excellence, where the performance of the help desk can be optimized in a much better way. And finally, accelerate the time to value. So that's wherein, let us say, you as a brand needs to really have your help desk up and running at the shortest point of time. So how easy it will be for you to do that. So that's wherein we will be able to help you out in setting up the help desk or the touch points across or to the multiple customers who are going to reach out to you in the shortest span of time. So gone are those days wherein you are going to really spend a lot of time to set up the help desk. But here, using all the features of the cloud computing, will be able to help you to set up the help desk at the shortest possible time. So this is the overview which I thought I will start with. And now moving into the potential use cases. So this is wherein I have split the various use cases into the various segments. So that's wherein initially we will be enabling the end users to resolve the inquiries through the first line of defense, wherein we have the bots and then the self-service portal, wherein we can populate the frequently asked questions, so that the customers, rather than reaching out to the help desk, they can first take a look at the various solution articles and FAQs and then the knowledge-based elements, and then they will be able to resolve the simple queries by themselves. So in this case, let us say, for example, an end user has to really apply for an insurance, and he wants to really know whether they can apply for an insurance by paying in credit card. So that question, rather than reaching out to the help desk, they can just search like, is the credit card payment option available in the knowledge base itself? So that will give the result that what are the ways in which that can be applied to credit cards. So in this way, imagine this is just got to be one query. So like this, we will be able to automate many queries which are going to be very simple, which can be auto-resolved by the system itself rather than routing it to a help desk agent, right? So that's wherein you will be able to drastically reduce the volume of tickets that is going to come into your help desk. So what happens is you are enabling your customer service representatives to spend their time in answering the questions really matter, so that their productivity is going to increase. You are not going to allow them to answer the basic questions which can be answered by the system, right? So that's wherein, due to the COVID impact, there is going to be a lot of inquiries of late, wherein the end users are reaching out through the various digital channels. And also your help desk representative, the customer representatives who are going to solve this inquiry, right? They also get overburdened by all these inquiries. So that's wherein, if you're able to kind of deflect the frequently asked questions and other frequently known queries to the chatbots or to the knowledge bases, that's wherein the agent will be more productive, and also they will be less stressed. And then your attrition rate is going to get in a better way, right? It could be reduced, so that the agent also has that kind of a job satisfaction that they're able to resolve to the customer's query. And your help desk is only as good as the mentality of the agents who are going to respond to the customer queries, right? So that's where it is very important to ensure that the agents' productivity and the mentality is going to be high at any point of time. So that's wherein we enable the agents. And then coming to the various aspects, right? Wherein you had mentioned, one of the prospect that mentioned now that they are already using one of the chat solutions. So we also have the integration of the frequently or the most used applications in the market with our systems. So that's wherein we will be able to build a kind of a custom integration, or if that particular application is going to be there in the marketplace, we'll be able to natively bring the integration with that particular product, and then bring in all the information into the help desk or to the calling solution which we can provide. So all these things can be done. So that's wherein we want to reiterate the fact that the specific use cases which you have, probably you can reach out to Manisha, and then we can get into a round of discussion where we can take the opportunity forward. So moving back again, then we have something called as the productivity option, wherein we will be able to ensure that whatever leads that is going to come into the system is not going to get wasted. So let us say there's going to be thousands of leads that is going to get generated by your marketing engine. Now, as a sales agent, how we are going to equip them to take the leads that have the highest probability of conversion? So that's wherein we will be able to give a kind of a predictive score. We have done it for the leading healthcare provider, where they had a lot of patients which had got inquiry into the CRM, and we are able to try to understand like which of those patients needed immediate help. And this use case was specific to one of the leading government based out of South India during the peak of COVID, wherein the patients were at utter panic during the point of COVID when the COVID cases were at its peak. So most of the citizens, when they had slight temperature, were panic stricken and they all rushed to the hospital. So that's wherein the doctors, the nurses, and other healthcare workers were put under tremendous stress because the incoming requests of the patients were huge, and they were not able to attend to the patients who required the treatment at most. So that's wherein we were able to help the government by setting up the smart chatbots, through which once the citizen had to come into the hospital, they had to in fact give a specific questions, wherein the chatbots will be directing the citizen whether they need a kind of a further treatment by the healthcare workers, or if they could self-isolate themselves. So in this way, they were able to correctly identify the right people who needed the attention at the most, and the others were asked to self-quarantine. So by this way, there was a huge reduction in the volume of the incoming inquiries. So this is one example. This is in healthcare, typical healthcare segment. So probably you can also associate the same kind of volume that is going to come into your help desk, and how we can help that to reduce in the first phase. So if you are going to reduce the incoming volume, half of the work is done, right? And then your customer service representative or the help desk can focus most of their energy in terms of resolving the complaints that are going to be the rest of the 20%, right? So that is the kind of thought process which I thought we will be able to solve. And one more use case was in the fintech segment, wherein there is going to be a lot of customers, like they are going to reach out to simple questions like, where is my refund? Or I had already paid for these services, but still I have not got that product into my cart. So these were some of the typical use cases wherein we were able to resolve it using the chatbots and other smart automation rules. And using that, we were able to automate the response of the help desk by around 80%, wherein there was no need for a manual intervention or for a live agent intervention there, right? So this is the kind of difference that you could make to our typical help desk scenario. And that's where we are leading you to. And that's wherein we want you to think in that way and probably reach out to us with the specific use cases. And then moving on, there is also a few use cases wherein in some of the segments, like a typical telecom sector, wherein let us say there is going to be a thunderstorm, or there is going to be some calamity due to which the internet connectivity is going to get affected. And that's wherein the field engineers need to reach out to the customer's place in order to resolve the issue. So we will be able to set up a system wherein you will be able to have those incoming queries listed on the CRM, and then you will be able to allocate a service request to the typical field engineers, who will be able to use their mobile app, where they will be able to see the end user's location, and they will be able to go to that particular location, and then they will be able to troubleshoot the issue and then resolve the issue and then make a re-entry back into the CRM so that the help desk agent can close the ticket. So in this way, you will be able to enable the field service management component as well, like in those industries which are going to be relevant there. So that is also one of the areas where we have a lot of traction, and we will be able to help you out. We have got the products ready, we have got the workforce ready. It's just we need to really know the particular use case and then incorporate that in our product, and then we will be able to deliver that. So that is wherein this is one of the use cases which I thought probably I will showcase. And then finally, this is wherein sometimes we will be able to understand like in which of the life cycle typically a prospect is going to be in. So that's where, let us say you have your website and the prospect is going to come into your website. So at this point of time, the prospects are going to be typically visitors. So how you will be able to convert the visitors into prospect? So that's wherein you will be able to make the analysis of a typical visitor's behavior on your website, in which part of the website they're going to spend most of their time, or which part of the website needs further optimization or improvement. And whether when a call to action is going to be made, if a particular product is going to be added to the cart, but the visitor is going to abandon the cart and leave. So how you will be able to proactively reach to that particular visitor to complete that call to action. So these are some of the things which we can certainly do to you. And post that, once the prospect is getting converted into lead, that's wherein the lead gets assigned to the various sales agents, and we will be able to make the sales agents much more efficient in terms of identifying the most relevant leads, the leads which have got the highest probability of conversion. So how those leads can be allocated to the sales agent so that that is going to get converted into your customers. And also the various stages, right? It is not going to be a straightforward conversion. There are going to be multiple rounds of interaction with the various stakeholders, right? It can be more of you are going to give a demo of your product or your service, and then you are going to negotiate the pricing, and then the customer might ask for a discount, and then you finally arrive at the final purchase order or whatever is going to be the final pricing, and then the prospect or the lead is going to become your customer, right? So how you will be able to track all these interactions and inside one CRM, right from the time when the end user was a visitor to a prospect to a lead to a customer, across this entire journey, how you will be able to map those customers in a 360-degree view. So that is what we can offer, and we would like you to really come up with your specific use case so that we can do that for you. And coming to this slide,
So-
I think yeah.
So Raghavendra, thanks so much for that. I wanted to actually, get some key points from you on the aspects that you highlighted. There are a few things that come to my mind when you mention about the different stages of the customer life cycle.
Yeah.
Would it be right for me to understand that it's the end-to-end process that we can manage through the the omni-channel systems and processes that we deliver to the enterprise, and in that each of the pieces, each of the building blocks that we have will help them quickly monitor and take sensible decisions at each stage so that they can add a lot of value to the customer and to the organization.
Exactly. So as you rightly mentioned, it will be across the life cycle. So we can automate their marketing process, and then we can automate their sales process, and then we will be able to also automate the customer support process, so that across the life cycle we'll be able to track the key insights, and so that the agent is going to get a complete context of the end user right from the time when he or she was a lead until when he became a customer, and then how the customer can be turned into an advocate, right? So the entire process can be automated using the various systems which we have. Yeah.
So would this be true for a supplier management or a distributor management systems as well? Because when you're speaking about covering all the departments of an organization, these would be also critical departments, including HR.
Yeah. So that's a very good question. So there are two aspects to it, right? One is the external customers who are going to really reach out to the help desk, or there can be the internal stakeholders as well. So that's wherein the employees are going to come into picture. So that's wherein we will be able to serve both the end customers and also the internal employees, wherein we have the extensive enterprise service management features available. So let us say, for example, a typical customer wants to automate their HR system, wherein let us say they are going to take a list of the people who are going to get onboarded into the system, and then next they want to ensure that out of these they want to filter out certain candidates based on certain criteria, and then they are going to onboard that particular list, and after onboarding they want to really raise a request and then give them access to the various systems, like they want to give access to the laptops, printers, or whatever is going to be, right? So even this internal process can be automated using the enterprise service management which we have. So it can be done both in terms of the external stakeholders, which is going to be the customers, and also the internal stakeholders, which is going to be the employees. So the use case, depend on the use case, we'll be able to set up the flows accordingly and then fulfill the particular condition that needs to be met.
Thanks, Raghavendra. Also, we've seen that, internally within departments also there are, requests that are raised, and those requests have specific timelines to be met.
Yeah.
Now, do we understand from, whatever inputs you shared that those processes can also be managed and, relevant triggers can be initiated using the call to action medium that we have?
Yeah. So we can typically set up all the approval workflows, like which IT department head needs to approve some of the few things. That can be one use case. And also we can set up the SLA. We can configure the SLAs in such a way that there is accountability for each and every inquiry that is going to be coming to the system, like within how many minutes or hours that inquiry needs to be resolved. So that can be set up. And also we can write smart automation rules, so that let us say a nature of an inquiry is going to come in from a certain department, and that needs to really traverse a certain path. So all these configurations can be done in the system and then accordingly redirected, rerouted, so that it is taken till the closure. We will be able to track it. And also as an admin, you will be able to derive the insights, like what has been the efficiency of the help desk and how soon all these inquiries have been resolved. If a few of the outliers have exceeded the SLA, then what is the reason? So what is the operational efficiency or the inefficiency that is there, which can be optimized? So this kind of dashboards and analytics can also be given to the admin so that the operational process can also be optimized accordingly. We can do that.
Thanks, Raghavendra. One last question to you. So does this mean, just trying to reiterate that this is true for across industry verticals? It's agnostic to all verticals that are there, or it's very specific to a particular vertical?
Yeah, it is vertical agnostic, and we'll be able to solve. And we have done that, and we have really served customers across the multiple verticals, whether it be from healthcare, retail, BFSI, or manufacturing. So I think we'll be able to serve it across the verticals, and we'll also be happy to explore new use cases that can fit into our ecosystem so that we can help them out in their journey of optimizing their help desk. So I think we are looking forward to that.
So it means that you are reiterating the thought process that I set the tone at the start of the presentation, which meant that, our use cases are relevant across industries, across interdepartments, and, it makes sense for each of the customers that we have. Now, when we define the customer could be a true end customer, a customer could be a supplier, customer could be a distribution channel partner, or it could also be an internal employee.
Exactly. That's the point. Yeah.
Great. So that brings us to the final layer of the presentation. Now that we have the insights of and the know-how of what needs to be done in case communication which is currently running in silos need to be automated. The only thing that we need to do now is to get going. Why? Because, when you begin, the battle is half won. And how do we go about doing it? To be putting it across very simply, you have to look at the broken journeys that are there in your organization and moments that will actually lead to a lot of frustration when you're dealing internally with it, within the stakeholders, or externally with the partners and suppliers that you have, or even your end customers. Now look for broken journeys, pick up a use case, build on the use case, build a pilot around it, see the success story of the pilot. And if it is really successful and it makes sense for you in the organization, then go ahead and replicate it across the organization. So identify the moments that matter and begin your journey. That's it in terms of the presentation. And that brings us to the last polling question.
While everybody is giving the poll, answering the poll question, I think Jajit, we are all talking the same language. We're talking about experience.
True, Sona. Ekta, we now open the session up for Q&A.
Yes. So as I've already been putting on the chat box audience, first of all, I would like to thank Suhana, Jagjit, and Mr. Raghavendran for sharing deep insights on the topic. And we still have 15 minutes to go. And any questions, audience, you can raise your hands or put on your chat box to our speakers. We'll wait for a while. Any questions for our speakers audience?
like the questions can be across the various use cases, right? Like as
Yes.
Ajbir had asked, I think it can be a typical insurance use case, or if you feel that you have a certain pain point which you would like us to address, I think we will be more than happy to understand that and then probably get into later calls. But on a high level, I think we can probably take questions as well.
Yeah. So Chachit, I don't see any questions coming. Maybe we might be reconnecting you with these guys for one-on-one, as I told you, right? So any closing thoughts on any from our speakers, that would be great.
No, Ekta, I think we've covered the length and breadth of it, and it's important that once you're aware about, the challenges that you have in your organization, the most important step is to begin. And the onus lies on oneself to, get that initiative done. So we will look forward to interacting with the,
Correct.
the customers who have joined the webinar.
Sure. So now, should I give a closing note on that note?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. So on that note, again, thanking all our speaker for making this an interesting session. And our audience, thank you so much for taking out your time on Friday noon and being here with us. We shall be sharing the entire video session with you, and also would be reconnecting with you to connect you with the SIFI team for one-on-one brainstorm sessions about their interesting solutions. So that's all for the evening, and have a good evening ahead and a weekend ahead, and stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks all. Bye.